Look at that bit. It's the most climbing in the whole thing. That's the Harrogate 2019 World Championship route. If you zoom it out, like, it is literally that section. Is the lumpy bit. I don't know where that is. Is that going up towards Carlisle? Yeah. Lowest temperature is 18 degrees. It says 0% chance of rain, so it's definitely raining right now, right?
It's definitely raining. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's definitely raining.
There's a funny story to all of this. I'll start from the middle. In 2019, we had the Harrogate World Champs in Yorkshire, and I was cycling across Australia, and I missed it all. Fast forward to this year, 2023. This year's been a tough year for me personally. I've had some quite serious illnesses.
So yeah, that's end of the race for me.
I've had a couple of very bad injuries. I decided to kind of scrap a huge amount of projects just because of recovery time and try and do something fun, which is where this ride came in. I jokingly said to someone, oh, maybe I'll ride to Glasgow from my house in the Peak District, which is 200 miles. It's far, but it's not crazy far. And then I started just doing some more research because I knew about the Harrogate World Championships in 2019. I kind of knew about Goodwood, but I didn't really know about the Liverpool one and the Leicester one, which was like in the 40s and the 20s. And going, well, wouldn't it be quite cool to actually ride from the south of the UK going north, ticking off those locations, Goodwood to Leicester, Leicester to Liverpool, Liverpool to Leeds, and then from Leeds to Harrogate riding the 2019 road circuit, and then basically from Harrogate up to Glasgow, but split that over a couple of days because that's really far. I kind of wanted to create a ride and a route that would celebrate cycling in the UK and kind of just explore and encourage people to come and enjoy and join parts of the ride if they can. This isn't about doing it as fast as possible. It's nothing to do with like egos or anything like that. It is literally just about riding your bike and having fun. We're very lucky to have some incredible cycling in the UK, and I think most people automatically go, oh, I want to go cycle, I'm going to go to Spain or go to France or Italy and go to the Pyrenees or the Dolomites or something. And there's nothing wrong with that, but also remember that there's some of the best cycling in the world is on your doorstep, and it's well worth going and exploring that. Giuseppe Ceroni. So this morning we're going to be riding the 1982 World Championships circuit, which is about 16 kilometres. It was won by Giuseppe Ceroni. The second place was Greg LeMond, and third was a certain Sean Kelly from the TV commentary. Don't do that today, got to be one for the breakaway. Little bit of rocket fuel, Jack. We were talking about tweaking today's plan, so instead of doing just the circuit and then riding 255k tomorrow, we've tweaked the plan. So I'm riding the Goodwood circuit and then riding to Reading, so that means it's going to be roughly 100k, but most importantly that means that tomorrow's ride is about 170k as opposed to 255k. You got the keys. 1982 location. We're going to try and chance it and see if we can get anywhere inside. See how much of this part of it we can actually ride from until we get told off. So we're slightly limited to how much of the circuit we can ride. We're having a track day here, so we're going to try and get on the main circuit, which is on the road, ride that bit. Not going to get to ride so much of this bit, I think. We're on the climb which goes to the finish line for the 1982 Worlds. And we're told there's a little plaque to signify where the finish line is. So we're going to try and find it. I mean, this is like 10% coming out. Imagine racing this like fucking 18 times or whatever it is. It was really cool being on the circuit, actually getting to ride up the climb, and you could kind of imagine how it was used because there were really wide verges on either side that were flat, and you could imagine crowds of people standing there watching. Crowds on the side, cheering, Sean Kelly getting dropped, Greg LeMond attacking his teammate, finish line. I was thinking that's really cool actually, imagine that like hundreds and hundreds of people all around the world watching. And bikes back then in the 80s, you know, the gear ratios are not like we have now. The kit, they weren't wearing helmets, like they're wearing woolen jerseys, like it's completely different. Sport's changed so much since then.
This is where the finish line was 41 years ago.
It just makes it more believable and real and relatable. And we're very lucky with cycling that you can stand on the side of a road and watch your heroes ride past you. Not many sports you can do that on. We're very lucky to have that. Very lucky. And the fact that you can then ride the same roads. You can't go and play football in, I don't follow football, so Reading, we're in Reading. Can't exactly walk up to Reading Stadium and go and play football in the stadium, can you? But you can go and ride on the finishing circuit at Goodwood because it's just roads.
18 laps. I'm out. Brutal. And now you're going back to the hotel to get the car. I'm riding that way towards Reading and it's pissing it down. I will see you on the road somewhere. See you in a bit. About 30k into the day now. Roads have been really beautiful. Just chugging along, quite content really. Quite enjoying myself. Like, I really enjoy these trips because there's no pressure. It's just about ticking off the mileage, exploring the roads, seeing where you end up.
Started the ride and going through the gears, I could tell that it was just sort of slipping a bit. So I thought if I go past a bike shop, I'll just pop in and get them to just double check that the mech hanger's straight. We went through a town, I think the town's called Liphook, and on the right hand side was a shop called Liphook Cycles. And I thought, do you know what, I'm gonna go in there and just double check. And the mechanic effectively just took the mech off, checked the hanger was straight, and then we just re-indexed it using the eTube app, which took us 10 minutes really, quick and easy. And then I got chatting to them, and the owner actually was at the World Champs in 1982 and was just quite cool hearing some stories about it. And you know, it's amazing when you hear these stories from people who were there and like their kind of experiences of it. Sorted the bike out, running perfect for the rest of the day, wouldn't take my money or anything, so kind of perfect really. I offered to pay, I even offered to pay to the dog. The dog just looked at me like, wait man, what do you want? I don't deal with this place. I work in biscuits and sticks. Today kind of, for me, was a bit about getting my head down, getting the distance done, and then ultimately it makes tomorrow less stressful.
56k done.
I'd say that today kind of became like a leg loosener kind of day.
So I've not recorded a lot. Been really busy roads, to be honest with you. Coming towards Reading though now, I reckon like 15k or so.
Hello?
Hello mate, so you reckon you're 8 minutes away?
I'm 2 miles away, which apparently in this traffic is going to take me 8 minutes.
Yeah, we're doing a Top Gear thing where I'm literally 2 minutes away from the hotel by bike and you are 8 minutes away in traffic. So
yeah, but I can still win.
You can still win. Yeah, I also don't know what direction I'm supposed to be going in, so you could still win this.
I'm going to win this.
All right, it's a race. Let's see if I can beat you.
All right, bye.
The traffic's really bad.
The race is on. He's nearly there, I'm nearly there. I think, genuinely, I think I could do it. I'm still a mile away. I'm gonna go into this middle way so I can overtake some people because I'm cheeky. I'd say my heart's racing, but it's at a steady 60 beats in a minute, so, you know, tension's not quite got to me yet. But...
Basically, in the middle of a roundabout of a motorway. It's all part of planning routes. I quite like it. You never really get an idea of what you're going to come across until you actually start riding. So that's what's part of the fun of it, really.
I can see the hotel. I can see the hotel. I'm gonna win. Win it. Win it. Win it. Win, 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 win.
I won.
Outside the front. But I can't miss it. Oh, he's actually done me, hasn't he? He's done me.
Do you know where I was?
He's done me in, hasn't he? He's done me in.
Today kind of, for me, was a kind of a bit of a get your head down, get the day done, get to the hotel, rest, recover, and get ready for the next day, because the next day is 177 kilometers. It's heavy.
It's not actually heavy.
It is heavy.
I need you to say this on camera that it's not heavy.
It's quite a bit of climbing in it. Probably to be fair, it's probably similar kind of amount of climb today, 1,500 meters, but it's a lot longer to Leicester.
Wait for me.
Today was from Reading to Leicester, but making a call into Mallory Park, which is where the 1970 Cycling World Championship was held, and it was held on the circuit.
Quite looking forward to today, getting it done, ticking the distance off. 8:30, probably about 7-8 hours of riding I reckon today. See how we get on.
Today was a punchy climb out of Reading that was for the first 25 kilometers, just dragged on long. For the remainder of the day, it was just a rolling, consistent on the pedals, off the pedals, on the pedals, off the pedals. Beautiful, really beautiful. Fields, lakes, all that kind of stuff. Very consistently just flowing.
It's like just a bunch of guys on their club run. Can I join on the back? And they're like, yeah. Where are you going? Glasgow. Oh, okay. Yeah, of course you can. Right, I'm going to keep going because I need a wee. And I don't think I can have one here. Sneak out. Just need to get some essentials in.
I had 3 people join me today on the ride.
Snake. Hello. Hello. How are you? How's it going?
Hi.
You want a snake? Oh, I wouldn't say no.
Bryce, who is 10 years younger than me, so that made me feel great.
I live just about 10k away, so
okay.
I figured I'd, when I saw the route go by, I figured I'd come down and have a little support. I got this over COVID because it was the only bike that was basically a gravel bike. Yeah, I could get. And yeah, just put some new tyres on.
Nice.
And I'm doing GB Duro.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're a madman.
He's just finished university, doing his first ultra this year. He's doing GB Duro, which is a kind of off-roady, gravelly race from basically Land's End to John O'Groats.
I have company today. It's quite nice, it's quite needed. I get bored talking to myself.
You get bored talking to me soon.
I think it was nice to have that company, because company just like breaks up the monotony of it and making it, you know, I like having company when I'm riding. I like riding with other people. It's the conversation shared and that, you know, and the discussions and chats, and there's a real synergy. There's something really beautiful about riding next to people and talking openly. And Bryce was sort of talking about how, you know, he's had his struggles with his mental health and is doing GB Duro to raise funds for Movember. So that, you know, it's a cause really close to me. So that was really, really cool to hear him say that.
Yeah, we've basically had a tailwind for quite a long time. It's sort of tail cross, nice wind. You're not looking forward to riding home?
I certainly am not, no. Not with that hill we just went down.
And then we had Ollie join, and he joined for a couple of K. Ollie has done Pan-Celtic 3 times. We've sort of like spoken briefly on social media a few times, so it's quite nice to actually meet him.
And just like that, I'm on my own again. About 100k to go now. Getting there through the day. Windy, really windy. We're getting there. It is very rolly around here. I actually quite like rolling. Just always have done. I think it just kind of suits my riding style. It's been windy though. That's my takeaway of today, is wherever you see these like gaps in the hedge, I've got quite deep wheels on. It's like, whoop. Welcome to British summertime. We're headed towards Daventry, where we can get some lunch, and then try and dry up a bit. Steep. Steep. Glamorous, mate. Tesco's meal deal. I'm trying to change my mindset to there's no such thing as bad weather, it's just weather. Try and have fun with it, you know. when it rains, it's something to have fun in, not to hate. It's working, we're getting there a bit, he said. Another sense of humour failure yet. 65 to go.
See you shortly.
See you shortly.
Enjoy it.
Too short.
Lastly, was briefly joined by Baron, who is a guy that's come on lots of the rides that myself and Toby and Steezy Collective organise. Has a lovely Stayer bike, which is a small London-based frame building company. Make really nice little steel frames.
Hey man. Hey. What up?
I love this bike.
I love this one.
I've seen this bike several times. I love this bike.
It must be looking different every time, like it keeps getting added to. That's neat.
And similarly rode with him for probably about 10k or so, and then he realised that his Garmin was dead and needed to ride home. Forgot to charge it.
Ah, shit. Well, back the way we came. Find a new route.
Quite often with road closures, if you're cycling and the workmen are there, they quite often will let you through, if you ask nicely.
CCTV, so I'm not going to get away with that one, I don't think.
But there was no one there, and there's a big CCTV camera basically looking out, and I was like, can't go through there then. But the problem with that road closure is it's right by the junction to where we would have joined on to the next road.
The most logical way.
Would it be that way?
So that meant riding back for probably about 3 kilometers and then doing an additional loop, which I think probably added like 8 kilometers pretty much onto the ride.
Made it to Mallory Park, location of the 1970s Cycling World Championships.
My dad used to be a professional motorbike racer and sidecar racer. I knew he had ridden Mallory Park, but I wasn't certain. So I was just like, oh, I called him up to ask him if he had any like stories about Mallory Park. It's my dad.
Got a funny story for you. I'm going to put you on loudspeaker, Dad. What happened in 1985?
1985, I was passengering Ray Gardner at Mallory Park. It was early March, I think. And in practice, going up the long, fast sweeping right-hand 180-degree bend, he got the sidecar wheel on the grass. And the thing then started snaking down the circuit and spat me out. So I decided to let go, going infield towards the lake rather than outwards towards the tyre wall, and stopped short of the lake, fortunately.
You still won though, didn't you?
In the 2 races, we won both races.
Watching motorbike racing is really nostalgic to me, because like as a kid we used to go and watch my dad race and go and help out at the Isle of Man TT and that kind of stuff, so I love seeing that kind of thing. Then from Mallory Park it was like 15k into Leicester. To be honest, most of that was downhill. The plan then for the rest of the day is basically eat, sleep, go again tomorrow.
Day 2 done?
Tomorrow is 205k to Liverpool and the weather looks shit. I don't care about my weather theory now. It's shit. Today I cycled from Leicester to New Brighton in Liverpool. So today's 205k. I'm definitely tired after yesterday. And we have the potential of horrific weather this afternoon. I'm gonna take it steady. Oh god, sunscreen in my eyes. The cumulative 2 days, which have both been like close to 200k, is a lot to do in 2 days. And for anyone, doesn't matter who you are, that's a big distances. The one for me I want to make sure I feel good for is the 2019 route, which is 2 days time. Riding in the UK is not simple. It takes a lot of concentration. We don't really have like straight roads at all really. There's a few Roman roads, but we don't have a lot of it. It's a lot of windy, rolling roads, lots of narrow lanes. You have to be way more aware of what you're doing on them, to be honest. Beautiful, but it's just a lot of sensory things to think about, especially when the weather is wet. And when the roads get wet, you then have to think about that and take that into account when you're braking, you're slowing down. There was a point when I hit a pothole and it really hurt.
Ow.
I just didn't see it. And that was like, oh God, okay, that's quite painful. And then I didn't think about it for quite a while afterwards. The problem is it's always kind of on the back of my mind. It always aches. It just progressively started to ache more.
The winds have been nuts today so far. I think we're coming up for about 70k now. Just trying to get my head down, get it done as quick as I can really today. That's a great setup.
Thank you.
How cool is that?
105k done, so technically 100k for the rest of the day. And the majority of the climbing's done. So I've done 1,150 meters and there's 450 left. So in theory, it should be better now, but I'm tired.
That's not a little bit of rain, Jack.
No,
That's heavy.
It's coming right for us as well, isn't it?
I don't know what to say about it, it's going to be horrible. This could be worth adding on. It's very cold, so I'm just getting some layers on to try and keep me warm. Let's hope it doesn't get too wet. I think like my wrist was starting to get a bit sore for like the last like 50k really, like noticeably sore. My wrist hurts.
Yeah, I can see you. You keep shaking it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll just keep chugging along, see how we get on, see how this is. But I think it's downhill for a while now, which is quite nice. It's the cold and then just getting out the saddle and just having to like push up a hill. Not much you can do about it. Carry on.
See you soon.
Definitely been a bit wet, but we're ploughing forward. Starting to get over most of the descending and climbing. So I've done over 1,500 meters of elevations, like 250 left. And I'm on about 150k. Yeah, tough day after yesterday as well. Very pretty.
Oh, it was really nice to see Lewis, because I hadn't seen anyone today. But when someone goes out their way, stop and, you know, cheer, he had a cowbell. I haven't seen him for a long time, so it was nice to see him. You know, he stops to have a chat. Maybe stopped a little bit longer than we should have done because I got very cold afterwards. But that was nice. You don't really remember the cold after, you tend to remember the moments and the conversations.
I reckon 25k, mate. To New Brighton. It's better than the old one.
Say bye to little Stanny.
Bye, little Stanny.
That's freezing towards the end of the ride. That whole section leading into the promenade is not the most pretty. It's very industrial. There's lots of back roads and cycle lanes and busy roads. Trying to also work out where you were. Didn't know if you were going to be at that end point. And then I got there and you weren't there.
Howdy.
I beat you again.
This is New Brighton. The Cycling World Championships first happened in 1921. In 1922, the second edition of the Cycling World Championships happened here in New Brighton. Now, unfortunately, there's no velodrome left. There's none of it's left, sadly. But I thought it was right that we came to the location, at least. Useless information about the 1922 one. I think it was like 13 people took part in it. Something like that, 11, 12, 13. There's only a men's race, unfortunately. It was on a velodrome, so it was tiny in comparison to what the World Championships is now in Glasgow, where we've got like 20 different events. It could have been here, somewhere around here. It was right on the seafront, so you can imagine it would have been quite cool, actually.
Yeah, man. Back in the day when it was sunny, whenever that was.
Over 100 years ago.
What, when it was sunny?
Yeah. I don't have much more to say about New Brighton. It's wet.
We now got to get in the car to get into Liverpool, where the hotel is. A bit cooked.
So tonight's plan anyway is to eat, sleep, chill out, try and recover well, giving the bike a bit of a clean, because it's just gritty and it feels horrible when it's gritty to ride on it, so just got a bit of the dirt off it that's come off the road. Tomorrow's a shorter day, it's 120 something K, it's quite a bit shorter, so might leave a little bit later. My mind is not working. Day 4 was a shit show. And it was always kind of a bit of a transfer day, is how I kind of saw it. Like, I tried to make it an efficient day, which meant riding down the side of a motorway effectively. I had Nicole and Leon join me really early on, which was great. It's amazing to have company from the start. And it was dry when we started, so everyone was in good spirits and kind of feeling quite positive about what was going to happen that day.
Oh, you don't remember all this shit, are you?
Because it's a convenient car.
How you doing?
Good, yeah.
Excited for your riding?
Yeah. My legs aren't, but I'm sure Chris is on either, so... When I said my legs were tired last night, my husband said you cannot say anything, like, look where he's ridden from, so, yeah.
122.2. Feels nicer. It's literally 80 kilometres less. It could be done by like freaking 3:30, 4 o'clock. Look pro, go slow.
That's the other one.
How do we get out of it?
But before we even got out of Liverpool, it started raining, so we started layering up.
It's a good job he packed his rain jacket, because I know he is not going to be enjoying this.
Welcome to British summertime again. It's not very nice. Again.
So quite early on into the ride, we ended up on this cycle lane that runs on the side of a dual carriageway and then subsequently kind of a motorway.
Stop to find some sunshine.
Which meant a lot of kind of like dodging puddles, grit and glass and all kinds of stuff. But it's efficient, like it's a straight line, so that was the reason for doing it. But in reality, with the bad conditions, it was not the most sensible decision. It just meant that there's always this potential risk of punctures and stuff. So what ended up happening is we got closer and closer to Manchester, the surfaces and the cycle lanes just ended up getting worse and worse, and it ended up that we were riding literally on gravel at points, and on like a road racing tyre is probably not the best decision going. And then was the first puncture.
First puncture.
Of the whole ride?
Of the whole ride. The bike now looks grim. Well, at least the sealant's going to wash off.
The first puncture sort of sealed itself, so that was fine. Didn't have to worry about it too much.
Coming up 40k. Still hasn't stopped raining.
And then the second puncture, which didn't seal itself. So I plugged the second puncture and had to pump up the tyre again.
So 45k done. The rain has stopped, which is good. My hands are pretty f***ed. Like they're you can see they're like blistering from the last 2 days of riding in, you know, hours in the rain. So what you were saying is to try and get on the other side of Manchester and then see how things are from there. Like
it's just like normal roads over there, isn't it?
So it might actually be all right at that point. The weather might be better.
A few moments later.
Going back to Punchageddon, the third one, which was the like nail in the tyre, literally, I guess.
Another puncture. I mean, that's 3 plugs. Today is not going very well.
I ended up basically soft pedaling until we saw Jack and the car, because conveniently I had remembered to put a tubeless pump, some sealant and 2 spare tyres in the back of the car.
New tyre?
Today is not the day where things are going to plan.
So sitting outside a Shell petrol station, I took the tyre off, put a new tyre on, put new sealant in it, seated a new tyre and carried on.
I think this actually might even be a bigger tyre, which is a nice little bonus.
See you shortly.
Did it pretty smoothly actually, like I think it was pretty efficient and quick, and got riding again. And within, I would say probably 5 minutes, I got another puncture. And this was on the front.
You're kidding me?
What? Another puncture?
Yeah.
On the rear?
Front.
On the front this time?
So I plugged it, pumped it up again,
Fifth plug of the day.
This is fine. My whole world is burning around me. This is fine. And probably about 5 minutes later was a second puncture on the front. Now this one did reseal itself, but in total, over the course of the day, I had 5 punctures. As we were getting into Manchester, I said to Leon, I said to him, like, are we near your home yet? And he's like, yeah, it's not far for me to get home. So the roads just got a bit rubbish, and I just kind of was like, do you know what? Got nothing to prove.
You're calling it a day?
It's horrible.
Just no point at the minute, is there?
There's no point. The puncture gods are not on our side. There's, as you say, there's no point. Like, 70k still done, and this was always a transfer day, and I've transferred to wherever the hell we are. And as I keep saying, tomorrow's the day I really care about. So when I really want to enjoy it, and it's a hard day. So what's the point of putting myself into more of a shell today?
To not enjoy tomorrow.
To not enjoy it. Thank you, I do really appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to ride with you.
Yeah, really good.
Lovely wet human. I'm a big believer in like things happening for a reason, and me getting 5 punches is probably someone or something turning around being like, you shouldn't be riding your bike today. So I kind of accepted that that was the situation, that I should stop riding, and we drove the last bit towards Leeds as opposed to riding it, and got on McDonald's. Today is the 2019 Leeds to Harrogate route from Leeds into the Yorkshire Dales down to Harrogate, and I am tired. My wrists are a bit sore and my hands are quite blistered, or blistering because of the cold and all the wet. It is what it is, isn't it? There's not much I can do about it, in all honesty. So the 5th day was the day that was always the most important day of riding for me. I always wanted to, at some stage of my cycling life, ride the route that was used in 2019 World Championships from Leeds to Harrogate. This is a big day out that's slowly sapping the legs. I was so excited to ride this one though, and thankfully the weather was actually pretty good for the whole thing.
Could do with like a slightly different choice of outfit, because right now I'm like this. Overshoes kind of off, they're a bit thick and they rub a little bit on the crank, which isn't good.
Very sweaty. It's so hard to know how to manage it. In case you're wondering why I'm pacing loads, it's because I'm desperate for a wee. I want a long sleeve jersey and a gilet. I want a wee. This is soaked. That. Couple of straws. Yeah, that was a wise decision.
Let's go.
If you were to ride between Leeds to Harrogate directly, it's actually quite close, but the route goes very, very north into like the Yorkshire Dales and then sort of snakes back down south towards Harrogate.
Probably in the Yorkshire Dales now. Quite a lot of climbing now. This is where the wear out process really started in 2019. I mean, look at the elevation. It's pretty gnarly.
Me as a rider riding that, you kind of get that feeling as you're doing it that it's like, whoa, this is punchy. The total ride is 195k, and it's like around about 3,000 meters of climbing, and it sort of undulates where it's sort of like this crescendo of climbing, and then you kind of start descending with a climb, descending with a climb, descending with a climb over the course of the day. So the whole way it is designed is this continual like wearing down process of the pros.
Climb number 4 from Buckden. Spicy one, really spicy one. 3.8k, nearly 200 meters of climbing. It says the gradient remaining is 5%, but there's lots of red and orange, so I don't trust that.
There's this one section that we did, which I think was right in the Yorkshire Dales, which had just like waterfalls and like streams. It was a steep climb, but it was so beautiful, and that's the section that was taken out of the 2019 race, because that was part of where the road flooded and there was like a landslide. But that bit was just stunning, absolutely stunning.
Beautiful. Yeah. Less than a kilometre to go. The gradient average is 8%. But it's pretty amazing hearing the waterfalls all around. It's beautiful. The 4K climb.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the top.
Yeah.
Big climb of the route. It's just short of 5K and nearly 300 meters of climbing coming up. Kind of said to Jack, I want to get that one done and have some lunch. Oh, monster! 1.5 kilometers still to go. 20% in that last bit. Whew. Stunning though. I can't imagine racing up this. It's absolutely horrific. That was a nuts descent. I wanted to get that climb and descent done before eating because I don't think my stomach would have been very happy with me going up that. I think I might have thrown up. That climb was hard and that descent was rapid. In 2019, the men's race, they absolutely just drilled it into the bottom of that climb. You could tell it felt really fast. And they just absolutely hammered it, and then it blew up. The race blew up. First pieces, like I did. There's only one more climb though, one more categorised climb left in the whole thing. So we're over halfway in terms of distance, elevation and climbs, which is good. There's a section in that which is plus easily over 20%. There's a few bits that feel like they're mid to high teens, and there's one bit that is easily over 20%. And you really start to feel that bit. It's like, oh, it's starting to bite on the legs a bit. I don't know what my top speed was on that descent, but I know that I did
80 odd kilometres an hour.
No.
Because I was doing 50 miles an hour looking at the thing, and I was keeping the same distance with you as I was going down.
Bloop. We're kind of rolling down now for 15k, kind of rolling downhill, which will be a tailwind, so I'm looking forward to that. Then we've got the last major climb, which is 3-4k. So then we've got a descent, and it's kind of rolling through Ripon and into Harrogate. 78 kilometers left. This has been a fucking cool day.
So coming up to the last big climb, it's like 5-6k away. All I'm going to say is Mads Pedersen and Annemiek van Vleuten. There's a big win. This is a brutal day in those conditions, especially in the men's race. Whoa, fair frickin' play, both of you, and all the other winners, the juniors and the under 23s. Fair play. Big one. Steep, long. Explosions in the race. Getting there though. 2.5k to go. This is like 250 meters of elevation. Still got like about 100 meters to go. And 2.27k. 5k climb. Big. Tom Booden said, if you've got leg warmers on, you're training, you're not racing. Not that I'm racing, but I think it's finally warmed up enough to get them off.
So towards the end of the day, it's somewhere around Ripon Way, there was a guy riding towards me, and I thought, this guy looks cool.
This is Simon.
Hey guys.
Simon's come to ride. We got like 50k to go.
Yeah, it's not far now.
50k is far.
Not with this tailwind, Chris. I've been aching to get into it.
10k to go. Getting a nice little tow. Bit windy.
Yeah.
6k in a traffic jam. So they rode this route that I've done today before then heading onto a 15.5 kilometre finishing circuit and did a certain amount of laps of that finishing circuit. So these roads leading into that finishing circuit were super fast. Now the reason why they do like a finishing circuit is basically so when the bunch gets reduced you can take off lapped riders to make it safer ultimately. Works quite well. Imagine it in the race. Be full on.
Yeah, that'd have been
full gas.
That'd have been great in the race.
Yeah, and like
but at rush hour, not so great.
I tried my best, honestly.
Did well. Did well.
Very much.
And then I think you might have had a little pop after that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Longest ride in about a month. So
great.
Yeah, we hung out with Simon for a while in the evening. I was pretty knackered, to be honest, but we just sort of chilled out for a while and kind of knew that, in theory, the next day was going to be pretty chill. It's the 2nd of August, it's 9:43, and the weather forecast today looks like this.
Oh, that's a lot of rain.
100% rain and chances of thunderstorm warning until 7 o'clock this evening. So day 6 was a short day, so I'm going to keep this really brief. It was really wet. We did the 2019 circuit, we did 1 lap of it because it was so wet, and then we hung out with some people at Prolog, which is a really cool bike shop in Harrogate. It's car park quick time.
We're going to ride the finishing circuit. It's like 15k. It's not going to stop raining. We've got a small group of people just killing a rabbit over there. Solid rabbit.
It won't die.
That rabbit's not dying.
So the finishing circuit for the Harrogate 2019 World Champs is punchy. It's got a couple of like quite stabby climbs in it and some super fast and kind of slightly off camber and technical descents, especially the one that comes back into Harrogate. Having done the full route and then done 1 lap of it, and when you realise that the conditions from 2019 were pretty much like the conditions that we rode on the finishing circuit, it gives you just like a whole new level of respect for the people trying to be world champions.
Wetter than an otter's pocket, mate. 15k a lap, 200 odd metres of climbing. It's quite punchy. Imagine doing this 10 times after yesterday's ride.
In the rain.
In the rain. Ouch. Big ouch. We'll go back to the hotel. Gonna get warm, get dry, get some work done, and try not to be freezing anymore. This, I think that ambulance might be for me, Jack.
Day 7. So this day was riding from Harrogate to Carlisle.
Big salt.
Very, very close to the end of the whole project, but quite a long day in its own right. So weather's out. I think it's going to stay dry at least for the morning. I hope, and I am optimistic that this will be a very pretty route actually. It's a bit chilly, but it's okay. Queen, good start to the day.
See you in a bit.
See you there. Leaving Harrogate now. It's nice, it's on the cycle lanes again. It's always a pleasant way to start the day. It's just super chilled. 168k, close to 2,000 metres climbing. So coming out of Harrogate was like a cycle lane again. There's just a huge thorn bush across it. So I'm having to like, there's another cyclist coming the other way. And he shouted like, it's a thorn bush, watch your tyres. And the pair of us like scrambling around it. So out on the country lanes now. So far, really quite spectacular actually. Feeling pretty good. I think the easy day yesterday really helped actually. Sometimes, I don't realise it, but I've tactically planned things quite well. There's a sheep on a wall. What are we doing up there? third of the ride done. Getting into the hilly bit, well, there's a crescendo of climbs now for like effectively 6-7k.
What's up?
The chain's like just really gritty and dirty because we have a car. I've got some stuff I could put on it to just bring it back to life a bit. It just cleans the gritted shit off a bit. I could hear it on the climb, it just sounded awful. Take any of the extra off and then I'm happy. We're good to go. Already sounds better, look at that! Crescendo of climbs, that's what I said earlier. I thought it sounded really f***ing fancy. Because that's what it is right now. Crescendo of climbs. This climb's like 3.5, 4k long. It's the opposite of what I did 2 days ago on the 2019 route. So I descended down this. Beautiful. I think it's quite hard this way actually.
On paper, it was supposed to be a lot less climbing than it was. It turned out to be about 1,000 meters more climbing than the predicted route, which really f***ed with my head. Basically, it was climbing up to what is effectively like the highest pub, I think, in the area or in the UK or something like that, like some pub that's really high. But that was getting there roughly around lunchtime, which was kind of perfect. Although the amount of food that they had was not perfect, really, or I didn't eat enough.
In the goat.
Hello.
Hello, mate. I see you brought the family out.
My mate Ian the goat, so called because he rides like a goat, he looks like a goat, and he is a goat. Ian's super strong on hills, and the build up of fatigue and everything for me meant that I was not as strong on hills, but trying to keep up when I should have just kind of accepted that I didn't need to. This was a day where I think the fatigue really kind of crashed home hard, and descending one of the descents after having a very small lunch, I could feel that I was shaky and like low on energy and really like starting to not feel great.
Hunger knock. It's because you're too strong.
I think people often forget that after doing stuff for like a week, that fatigue affects you much more and you need to eat more and fuel more for riding. And especially this is a big day, 170k is a big day out, but I misjudged the amount of climbing, especially in the latter part of the day. But live and learn, these things happen.
We're going to a castle.
It's spelled B-R-O-U-G-H-A-M, Bruffham, but it's pronounced Broom.
It's quite beautiful actually. We've been completely conned. 2,300 meters.
That's what, 600 more than the route? Yeah.
600 more meters than what we were told. 600, that's a lot.
Still, like, we got into Carlisle in a reasonable time, and we made a point of stopping at Ian's house to get Seb, his kid, out to come and ride the last bit into Carlisle. There's some absolutely amazing graffiti in Carlisle, which I did not expect. But Seb gave me a little tour of that, and we rode to the finish with Ian and Seb, which was very lovely.
Big day.
It's a good day. It's actually took it quite chilled in the end, really. But nice to have company and nice to meet young Seb as well. Tomorrow I think will be even easier than today was actually. It's less climbing on paper, shorter distance, and then we're getting to Glasgow and Ian's going to do the whole thing.
Woo.
Yeah, it's a good lad.
Oh, these gulls making noises. Yeah, let's check in.
So day 8, the final day.
I'm quite looking forward to getting to Glasgow actually. Ah, birds.
Nice early start. Ian the Goat joined from the start, and there was a group of people all waiting outside the hotel. And my mate Josh had messaged me saying that he was going to see if he could join for part of it. And I was like, yeah, it'd be great to see you and great to ride with you. And I was checking the WhatsApp and seeing where he was and just thinking, he's not going to catch us. And then he's just texted me saying, I'm a mile or two behind you. What I saw was Josh appearing, and the first thing Josh doesn't swear, he's very polite, and he just went, mate, I'm f***ed.
You don't swear, and you just said you're f***ed.
I was going 40k and out behind Jack in the car.
He said to me, I'm going to go and get Josh.
On these f***ing 50mm tyres.
That was a proper effort, lad.
And then Josh was like, I've got to turn back and ride back into this headwind at some point, because he had to go back to where he was staying. And I was like, okay mate, no pressure, like, you go when you want to.
Some serious effort you were putting in behind me.
Well, it was helpful that I had a bit of a draft.
Yeah.
I think I need to put some salt in my water just to recover.
Yeah, man.
Proper fuel. Fucking took the last fucking snake.
Closer, 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 closer. Ah, kicking out.
And he kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, being like, oh, you know, I'll ride a little bit more, because we had quite a nice sort of like cross tailwind for most of the days. Like, I'll ride a little bit more. I was like, yep, no pressure, mate. And we were on like a relatively big road, but it runs parallel to a motorway. So it's actually got very little traffic on it, and you get like the pull from all the cars from the motorway. We kind of got to the top of like a lump, and I think that was the point where Josh was like, I'm going to go back now.
You going home, mate?
Well, yeah, it's longer for me to go back than it is for you to go to Glasgow.
Yes, fair.
But then I'll come to the Worlds on Sunday and I'll see you then.
Yeah, we'll see you on Sunday.
I've got further to go than you've got to go. I'll see you in Spain.
I'll see you in Glasgow first.
Oh yeah, in Glasgow. Getting behind them in this motor pace all the way back.
Yeah, he's a legend, isn't he? Love that guy. I think he probably regretted some of his decisions that day in riding that hard, because he looked cooked. From there, we ended up stopping and getting lunch at a service station. Shortest queue, big calories.
What are you doing?
I've spilt white powder all over the back of the car.
See you in a bit.
In any case of riding into a city, it's just slow. It's just like stop-start traffic. And had even more people join coming into Glasgow. And we had a group of maybe 10 of us in the end, which was incredible. Like, didn't expect it. And as a group of us got closer to the centre of Glasgow, we'd start to see like World Tour riders and pro riders in their national jerseys and stuff sort of riding around. And the whole city just felt like, it felt a very positive place in the centre to ride around as a cyclist. There's a real kind of energy and buzz around Glasgow during the World Championships, and we were there. We'd made it, and it was time to go and watch some bike racing.
We're here.
Made it to Glasgow. Today is Saturday. There is some BMX racing, some track racing, and the junior racing is today. The junior racing is in Glasgow, so men's and women's, so we're going to probably try and watch a bit of that. And then tomorrow we're going to watch the men's race in Glasgow as they smash it round 10 laps of the square up a 13% climb, which Mathieu van der Poel was doing at 30 miles an hour yesterday as a training ride. Oh, to be Mathieu van der Poel. We just walked past this shop, saw Cervélo ZHT hanging up in the window, and thought, oh, we've got to pop in here, have a little look around. And Neil, the owner of the shop, has just like blown our minds with some amazing stories, actually.
So yeah, my grandfather was president of British Cycling, president of Scottish Cycling, was chairperson of the UCI technical committee. So Arthur Campbell, the flight commander, travelled all over the world as a UCI delegate. So we've got World Championship Commissar badges going back to 1953.
These are so cool.
So Hino wins the Worlds in Salon?
No, we don't.
So apparently the hardest World Championships route there had been. That's my grandfather.
That's your granddad?
Yeah.
That's mega. Look how chill he is.
I mean, that's my maternal grandfather, and then it was my dad that was the pro racer. So my mum used to go to the races and pick the fastest Scottish rider.
You're in Glasgow. This is a shop to visit. It's an amazing shop. It's just a maze of amazingness.
One of the things I think is really great about British cyclists and British cycling riders is they're incredibly accessible and welcoming and want to talk with people, and they're around because they are fans of the sport.
Hi, I'm Archie. I'm a C4 paracyclist for racing for GB. I've raced individual pursuit on the track, kilo and 200 metre TT. Tomorrow I've got the scratch race, so hopefully it goes well. And then after that, head down to Dumfries for the road and time trial. So fingers crossed. Hope we get a jersey or a medal.
If he wins, I'm buying him dinner.
Nando's.
Never had a Nando's. We're buying you a Nando's.
Tomorrow, you're having a Nando's.
Cheeky Nando's, mate.
Nando's.
And he went and he became a world champion. And then jokingly, subsequently proposed the offer to Nia.
I am Nia Evans and I am a track rider. I'm here to do the Madison and the Points race in Glasgow.
And who are you riding for?
I am riding for Great Britain.
If you win a World Champs jersey, I will buy you a Nando's.
I've never had a Nando's.
Okay, right.
Well, no.
And I now owe both of them Nando's.
Really cool to chat to someone who's racing at the World Champs, and as well as Archie, we've had a great conversation with him as well today. Just getting to talk to people doing it makes it, I don't know, it makes it more real. Real people doing real things. She's damn good at bicycles as well. Give her a follow, she's cool. And she's a vet with a nice dog. Figaro, 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 Figaro. We found the Shimano neutral service cars, and we've just got some of the bikes mounted on here. So Shimano provide these bikes for races like the Tour de France, Giro d'Italia, World Championships. They have to provide bikes for any rider. It doesn't matter what team you're on if you're using other group set brands. So you'll see on all the bikes there's little things like some will have Shimano pedals and then some will have other brand pedals on them, which is to provide the right equipment for the appropriate rider. The bikes also come with dropper posts. Now the reason for that is so the riders are able to quite quickly adjust the height of the saddle to what they're used to. Generally speaking, they will have, for a Grand Tour, on every car there'll be a bike set up for the leader of the Grand Tour in their size and appropriate pedal system. So if something was to happen to them, they can jump on a bike and grab a bike. Yesterday in like lap recce warm-up, Van der Poel was doing 30 miles an hour up that, apparently. Casually.
So going full circle, what I really learned on this whole project was that there is so much unbelievable riding in the UK, and it kind of like justifies why we've had the World Championships in the United Kingdom 5 times. There's so much good riding. I don't think there's many other countries that have had it as many times as us. I don't think in the UK people realise how much of a history we have of cycling. We've had World Championships since the 1920s. Not many other countries can say that. So the United Kingdom is a great place to cycle. You just need to go out there and explore it.